Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to the Pipe Report. I found an article on Real Clear Politics that I think sums up the whole notion regarding the unmasking of Trump associates and how the Obama administration and what they did is more of a serious atrocity than the alleged investigation into Donald Trump. For the most part, the Donald Trump investigation, I think we can view it as nothing but an endless, futile investigation. They're doing an investigation strictly to do the investigation, to delegitimize Trump. Even though Dianne Feinstein even said there's no evidence of collusion, James Comey said it, John Brennan said it. I mean, these are powerful people that worked in the Obama administration. John Brennan was a CIA director who was nominated by Obama and confirmed by the Senate. Dianne Feinstein is a communist from California who does the same thing, she's on the intelligence community, and she's really against all things Republican, or all things moderate, and strictly all things Democrat she's for. And John Brennan, or James Comey, is likewise. I mean, we know that his brother worked for DLA Piper, a law firm that worked for the Clinton Foundation. We know that Comey worked for Lockheed Martin, which Intel worked also for the Clinton Global Initiative. So we know there is connections here. So we know that these people that are all saying there's no collusion between Trump and Russia, yet they're still letting the investigation continue. The investigation is nothing but investigation. That's it. There's no kind of evidence that is leading towards Trump. The whole Russian narrative is a hoax. There's more circumstantial evidence regarding Seth Rich being the DNC leaker than Russia hacking the election. And this article here, this points to the hypocrisy of that. This article points to the fact that the attempted illicit activities of the Obama administration is more synonymous with Watergate than Trump's alleged Russia ties. A lot more closer to Watergate. So let's read the article here because it's a pretty good article. There is a deep irony in the fact that Democrats are hysterically demanding investigations of President Trump and his campaign team, and in fact, multiple investigations are now in progress, even though there is zero evidence that anyone associated with the president has done anything wrong. On the other hand, we now know for certain that the Obama administration weaponized the intelligence agencies in order to use them against political opponents in a manner that is unprecedented, highly dangerous to our democracy, and criminal. I would also like to note on that he's done this before. This isn't the first time he has used the intelligence services to go after somebody. Remember when the IRS was targeting Tea Party members? Remember when the Obama administration intelligence services were actually spying on a Fox News journalist, James Rosen, tapping his phone, tapping his mother's phone? And their reasoning for it was he could be a potential spy. And the reason they had that reason was because he was writing damaging articles on the Obama administration. So Obama, being vindictive as he is, he decided to try to make James Rosen's life miserable. The real crime here isn't Trump. It's Obama. It is the deep-seated people in the government. Statism. Statism is the danger to American democracy. This scandal, which dwarfs anything of which the Trump team is even suspected, has been exposed and lies largely in plain sight for all to see. Yet, it has generally been greeted with yawns, if acknowledged at all, by politicians and commentators. At USA Today, Glenn Reynolds provides a primer on the Obama scandal. In 1972, some employees of President Nixon's re-election committee were caught when they broke into the Democratic National Committee's headquarters to plant a bug. This led to Nixon's resignation and probably would have led to his felony prosecution had he not been pardoned by his successor, Gerald Ford. But if a single bugging of the political opposition is enough to bring down a presidency and maybe lead to an unprecedented criminal prosecution of a former president, then what are we to make of the recently unveiled Obama administration program of massively spying on political opponents in violation of clearly established law? Because that was unveiled last week. And that was also unveiled in the past. We know that Obama spied on German Chancellor Merkel. We know that Obama spied on the French government. We know that Obama's NSA, as reported by Edward Snowden, spied illegally on millions of Americans. And then James Clapper, the Director of National Intelligence, lied under oath about it. Lied to Congress about doing so. Yet, he was never charged with a crime. And now we see him on CNN. We see him on MSNBC making these wild claims that Trump is the one that's guilty and we should trust his advice. We should trust him to give an accurate and honest description of what is happening in the world today. Can we really believe him? No, we can't. We cannot believe anyone at all. When you are caught lying under oath to Congress, when you perjure yourself, a crime, how can people believe you in the future? Well, if you are hardcore left, you ignore his past and you focus on the present. And that is what they do. That is what they do to try to spin this narrative, to give you this type of belief system. Glenn goes on to explain the safeguards that supposedly surround spying by the National Security Agency. But the Obama administration flouted these safeguards and then lied about its actions. A report from journalists John Solomon and Sarah Carter, she's really good, Sarah Carter from Circle News, last week, based on recently declassified documents, exposed what went on. As Solomon and Carter write, more than 5%, or 1 out of every 20, searches seeking upstream internet data on Americans inside the NSA's so-called Section 702 database violated the safeguards President Obama and his intelligence chiefs vowed to follow in 2011, according to one classified internal report revealed by Circa. The normally supportive court censured administration officials, saying that the failure to disclose the extent of the violations earlier amounted to an institutional lack of candor, and that the improper searches constituted a very serious Fourth Amendment issue, according to a recently unsealed court document dated April 26. A respected federal judge serving on the FISA court has leveled a very serious charge against Barack Obama and his administration, more serious than any charge that was made, let alone proved against Richard Nixon. That is key. That is key and imperative. The truth of the matter is that the Obama administration scandals, the many scandals they have been involved in, and what he is doing here, what he has done here, is more synonymous with Watergate than anything Trump could have done. Anything. There was actually monitoring of opposing parties' political candidate. Communications were monitored. They were spied on. And let's face it, do you really think Obama thought Trump would win? He probably thought that Hillary would get in and none of this would ever be exposed. Well, I think he's wrong. And this is by far a bigger deal than the Trump fake Russia conspiracy. Glenn concludes that the scandal raises serious questions about whether the intelligence community can continue to operate as it has in the past and whether it deserves the support of Americans. This debacle also raises serious questions about the viability of our existing intelligence community. In the post-World War II era, we gave massive power to the national security apparatus. In part, that power was granted in the belief that professionalism and patriotism would lead people in those agencies to refuse to let their work be used for partisan political purposes. It now seems apparent that we overestimated the patriotism and professionalism of the people in these agencies, who allowed them to be politically weaponized by the Obama administration. That being true, if we value democracy, can we permit them to exist in their current form? No. No, we cannot. That's a decision that President Trump and Congress will have to face. Ironically, they may be afraid to, for fear that the intelligence agencies will engage in further targeted political leaks. And that is completely true. That is completely true. What Trump should do is completely clean house. Basically fire all of those who worked in the intelligence services under the Obama administration, or anyone who has opposed him. Now, I know that may look like tyranny. That may look like he is cleaning house to set up a fascist dictatorship. That's not true at all. That's not true at all, but that's what it would be viewed as. But I don't blame Trump and his administration for being afraid of what intelligence leaks will come out. I've always said there are two entities that a president should never mess with, because one of them would destroy you and unleash all your secrets, and the other would make your economy as president the worst of all time. And that is the intelligence services and the Federal Reserve. Both entities have the power and the ability to destroy any president. Yet, I don't think anything good ever comes easily. And if we really want to clean this government up, if we really want to go back to a system full of integrity, full of the ability to operate a democracy in a proficient way, this is key. Trump has to do this. He has to clean house exponentially. The Department of Justice needs to get to the bottom of Obama's abuse of the intelligence agencies and the FBI. That abuse was criminally compounded when Obama administration officials leaked classified information to the Washington Post and the New York Times in order to damage political opponents. We know for certain that felonies have been committed, so someone should go to jail. Attorney General Jeff Sessions needs to ask, what did Obama know? And when did he know it? Who else in his administration was responsible for the scandal? Where criminal prosecution is warranted, it is up to justice to bring the cases. More broadly, once it has enacted tax reform, Obamacare repeal, and other top priorities, Congress should set investigations in motion. The public needs to know not only who committed crimes, but how deep the corruption went inside the Obama administration. And Congress needs to address, seriously, the question whether our politicized intelligence agencies can continue to exist in their present form. As for President Trump, firing James Comey didn't go anywhere near far enough. Heads should roll at CIA, the NSA, and the FBI. Those who are tainted with abuses that took place during the Obama administration should be shown the door and, where crimes have been committed, prosecuted. I think this is the most important paragraph of them all. Like I said earlier, there has to be cleaning house. Trump has to fire so many people. He has to end this because these leaks, they will continue to happen. This whole Russia investigation will continue on. Even in 6 months, if the investigation concludes and they don't find anything, they will start a new investigation because magically some new leaked information will come out that Trump 20 years ago met with a Russian banker, and they will again start the investigation. This is going to be ongoing. All through Trump's first tenure as president, this investigation will continue to go until either the Seth Rich story continues to break and gets publicized enough and becomes prominent enough that the investigation of Seth Rich takes hold and the investigation into Russia completely diminishes, or Trump gets out of office. Trump either resigns or he gets voted out in 4 years. So things need to change here. Things need to change here. And I'm done.